I ask you, could it be possible that if we help others without personal exploitation and monetary gain, that we are punished to lose personal? What do you guys think? I'm starting to ask questions that I notice in my reality being the case. Have you experienced this? Does it seem like we're almost somehow forced to choose? Help people for good, to heal, to be light, for belief, to care? To think that they can again. To give them answers, to give them an opportunity, a path of redemption, an answer to all their problems. Yet if we do not get an exploitative gain from said actions, have you all noticed that we're instead punished? Almost as if there's like a transfer of energy. If one storyline is gaining positive, then another one must lose. Is that how this works? If we demand money, rewards, or are using said action to further our own needs or that of a greater narrative, think conditioning or enslaving people to work or to use AI or to use social media. Places where they do a set path so they can get info repeatedly presented to them to make them become what we want them to be. So if we lead people there, then we get rewarded. Because then we are safe. Because we're serving a path of darkness. Service to self? Service to the darkness? Think those who do, yet brag about it. Praise, adoration, likes, impressions, control of the narrative, all to serve their story, a personal one. What they've accomplished, what they've achieved. They get to meet their personal stories, all their desires. Yet, at what cost? It sounds great, but at what cost? Corruption, need for money, reliance on the external, enslaved and imprisoned to the adoration of others, loss of any meaningful connections. They become a tool. A tool to be used by those who understand how the world actually works. Yet, if you do good, if you choose to help others at all costs, have we noticed? Then you're punished? Think about this one, guys. If you choose to do good and help people at all costs, then you are punished. All your personal is taken. It's prevented, anything that you're trying to accomplish, and if you do try, it's destroyed. Yet, you could be causing impact. You could be causing change for the greater good. You could be saving people's lives. You could be inspiring people's stories. You could be motivating people to walk a path they've never walked before. But at what cost? At the expense of losing an opportunity to ever have a personal story. This is the key. So if you help others by being light, what does that equal? There's no opportunity to thrive personally, yet you're free. And you potentially can cause positive impacts that heal or make people believe again. You can make others climb and rise to heights that they've never achieved before, but you yourself will never be able to, unless someone else from light does the same thing. You see how this works? If we were all light, it would work, but that's not the case, because if you help others for selfish gain or to further the darkness narrative by prioritizing money, you thrive personally, but you become enslaved to external reliance. Do we get it? That means that if you choose to be light, if you choose to be good, you need other people to help you. You cannot achieve any of your stories. You can't thrive personally by yourself. Yet if you choose to be selfish and further the darkness narrative, money, adoration, personal, anything selfish that relies on the external metrics to determine your worth, you will thrive. You will. But you lose all the rest in this world. So what are your experiences, people? Have you noticed the same? Because this is my reality. I hope it's not the case in your reality. I hope you're rewarded for helping people. Yet, could it be possible that if we help others without personal exploitation and money gain, that we are truly punished to lose personal? If that's the case, doesn't that indicate that we will know someone's inclination in their path based on if they are thriving personally or not? Especially if it's external, something that we can see? So if I know you're thriving right now, then I know that you're choosing exploitation and money. This is my reality. What is yours? Share it in the comments, guys. I would love to hear your experiences. But does it seem like we have a choice? If we help others, we lose all personal. And we're at the whims of the world. But if we choose our own story, if we're selfish, then we can't help others. What do you guys think? This is me starting to ask questions that I notice in my reality being the case. This is something that each and every one of you need to begin doing, because this is how you evolve, this is how you awaken, this is how you start realizing what's actually going on. So for me, I'm like, could it be possible that if we help others and we don't choose to exploit, like by choosing the easy paths, if we don't choose to, like, even if you see the answer right away, like, oh, how could I go viral? I'm like, oh, they missed this loophole. If you choose to do that, you will thrive, but you lose other things. But if you don't do that, you will lose personally, because you're supposed to be exploiting. You're supposed to be asking for money for something in return. Does it seem like we're forced to choose? I'm telling you guys, pay attention to this one. I'm telling you, you can understand someone's inclination path based on if they're thriving personally or not, especially if it's external. So with that said, my question is balance not possible? We can't help others, we can't give answers, we can't heal, and have a personal thriving storyline. Something has to give. Why? Could it be that where we direct our energy is what thrives? So if I focus all my attention on these videos or streams or posts, that this area is going to thrive, but everything else around me is going to decay and fall apart? What do you guys think? Is it impossible to help and thrive, as then it becomes a 60-40? It's a scale of balance, always tipped in one direction. Can we never actually find the perfect 50-50? And then those who claim they have found balance, that they are thriving and they are helping others, are they really? Are you really fine? Are you really thriving? Are you healed? Are other things in your life struggling? Are you only doing things because of what others will say? Sure, you have so much money. Sure, you have the fame. But is your personal life thriving? Is your family thriving? Do you have meaningful connections? Are you enslaved to something external? What happens if you don't get the likes? What happens if you don't have the money? What happens if you can't go on the trip? Are you reliant on things? Money, drugs, opinions, adoration, purchases, rewards? If those were all taken from you, would you still be thriving? If you had to begin from zero with nothing? Would your personal story no longer be the same? So, what do you guys consider thriving? Could something be learning what we consider thriving? And make sure to prevent that or take that away if we are doing a service to others' path. Based on my experiences, yeah. Every time I change my criteria of what I consider thriving, not what the world tells me, I something changed. So if I continued helping people for free, healing, giving them belief, giving them light, giving them answers, my punishments, my torture, and the prevention of things that I valued and considered thriving were immediately damaged, taken, or prevented from succeeding. Do you guys understand? The same things that were left alone previously, I didn't touch them. I ignored them. I didn't think that they were the metric, the criteria that I determined is equivalent of thriving. So I put it over there. Yet when I started healing people, when I started giving them belief, when I started giving them light, when I started giving them answers, when I moved away from the external, and when I started focusing on myself and determining for myself what I consider thriving, what I consider important in my life, what I consider valuable, all of a sudden, all the punishments, all the torture, all the destruction, all the attacks, all the prevention of whatever storyline focused and attacked on the things that I now considered what was thriving. Do we understand? In some ways, you could say you could bait something that is doing this to attack things that you don't actually value that much. And that's possible. Well, why do we live in such a world? But I want you all to think about that. Could it be that whatever you start valuing and considering as your success metric, if you deviate from what the external tells you needs to be the case, that all of a sudden, they start attacking that? Could it be? It says we have to choose. Your personal things, your personal storylines, or the world narrative and healing, fighting the greater battle that the world is undergoing, trying to conquer the darkness, trying to defeat insecurity, trying to make people realize that they don't need to be afraid of fake fear events that were fabricated. But if you don't choose to do that battle, if you don't choose to sacrifice everything for that, well, then you choose to do your own personal story, your own personal benefit. It's something that makes you happy, and you ignore everything else. Well, you lose everything else, but you get that. Do we understand? So, to give you guys an example, when I stopped caring about money, they attacked my ex-girlfriend and my son. After I lost them and overcame that challenge, I valued different things. Right? I had to move on. I had to move forward despite what I lost. So then, the thing that I valued the most was my dog. So then they attacked my dog. When I lost that, there was other things that I'm not going to get into right now because I don't want to start paths. But I'm telling you guys, they started attacking everything about myself. And still do to this day. And even video games that are harmless, that I now put on a more, like, you think of it like a scale of balance of how much I valued them. Now they're more up here than they were before down here, when I had the girl, the son, the dog, stuff like that. Now they attack them relentlessly. Why would that be the case? Yet before, they barely touched them. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to tell you here? Do you see? So now they attack everything about myself. It's mental torture, trying to poison and corrupt me and prevent me from remaining healed and from doing things. So my storyline focus was heal the world, get a new girl to date, have a family, have children and pets. And now what are they doing? Now they prevent that from happening. Do we understand? Anything you value, anything you deem important, anything you care about, if you're doing it for good, if you're doing it to help others, if you're doing it to heal people, to make people believe, and you're not asking for anything in return, I'm telling you, they prevent you from succeeding. They attack, they cause you problems, because then you're giving energy, but you're not asking for anything in return. Do you understand? So anyone who tells you that they're doing that, if they're thriving, they're not. There's something else that they're getting, and there's something else that they're asking, and it's called the mask of intent. They're using an illusion. They're using appearances to make it seem like they're helping. And doesn't mean that there's nothing good from what they're doing. That's not what I'm saying. But do you understand? What I'm saying is that they're doing it for a reason. They're doing it for something in return. Because if you did it truly, and there's no benefit to you whatsoever, what I'm going to tell you is, if you guys don't ask for anything, If you don't care about how it makes you look, if you don't care about the adoration, if you don't care how it changes like your appearance, your situation, your words, like you could use money right now, or you could use a break, you could use a trip, you could use a gift, you could use something that could help you, like make you smile again, whatever. And if you don't ask for that, and you continue to heal, if you continue to help, you continue to do good, I'm telling you guys, is that they prevent anything personal that you want from happening. Because since you're helping the outer world, since all your balance is towards the outer world, they are like, fine, well then you don't have it personal. But if then you choose, hold on. If I stop trying to heal the world for free and open people's eyes and start charging people money for this knowledge, and I used AI and I encourage people to use AI and I encourage people to watch ads and I encourage people to go on social media and consume information over and over again to get indoctrinated. And all of a sudden I had money, and all of a sudden I started thriving personally, and all of a sudden I started exploiting people. I started realizing the hacks and the workarounds to climb quickly. Hear what I said, quickly. I have a feeling that I would get a girl, and then a kid and pets immediately. What have all of you noticed? Has anyone noticed that if you have the answers to heal or solve other people's problems, they don't allow it to happen unless you exploit or get something external as a reward in return? Or is it just in my reality that I've experienced this for 34 years? What do you guys think? Because I'm telling you, this is my reality. These are my experiences, and I challenge each and every one of you to start talking about your experiences, not the events themselves that are occurring, but the whole. Like, wait a minute, why is it that whenever I try to help people, why is it that whenever I try to heal people, why is it that whenever I try to make people believe for free without asking for anything in return, for years now, I've lost every single thing in my life? Because that means that all my focus, all the balance has been on everything other than myself. I haven't prioritized myself at all anymore. Do we understand? Because I know that I can survive. I know that I can endure. I know that I can be all right. I know how to survive with less and less and less and less and less, which means that I can give and give and give and give and give. And yet I'm telling you, if you don't ask for anything in return, if you don't try to help, if you don't demand anything, since you're giving so much energy to the world and helping the world thrive, for some reason, the world's response is to make sure that you don't thrive. So most of you at this point are going to be like, so what's the point of helping other people? That's a really good question. Why does it have to be this way? Why does it have to be this way? Because I believe the only reason why it is because, well, there's people that if everyone chose to be light, if everyone just chose to help people without asking or expecting anything in return, well, think about it. If I help you learn how to do videos and streams and posts because you wanted to but you never could, then you could help me. Perhaps you know how to garden and you can help me get vegetables. Right? So that we have an exchange there, yet we're not asking for it in return. You're like, well, I'm good at this. Here, I can help you with this. Oh, I'm good at this. I can help you with this. Do we understand we're each using our skill set, our talent, our abilities, our powers for good, not asking for anything in return, but the trade routes, the exchange work because everyone is just doing what they're good at and it's just helping other people. That's their intent. Do we get it? So that I believe the world was designed meant for that. But there was something invisible that through mental reminders, through attacks, through torture, makes people realize, well, I mean, it's not fun. Do you guys get it? It's not fun to not have a personal life, to not have your personal goals, to not have a personal storyline. Do we understand? It's not enjoyable. It's not, because you see everyone else around you thriving. You see everyone else around you climbing, yet you gave them the key to do so. You gave them the knowledge, you gave them the opportunity, you opened the doors for them to do so. Yet every time you did, you fell further back. And it doesn't mean that you lost your skill set. It doesn't mean that you lost your talent. It doesn't mean you lost your knowledge. But what you actually have, what you're actually experiencing is always worse. So by helping and boosting everyone else, you're going down. But you keep your skill set and you keep your talent, which means that you can survive. You can endure because you get stronger. So in a way, if you can keep going down, you just keep getting stronger. So if at any point you do get help and you get back up here, do we understand that now you are playing with, let's say, 1,000 skill points, and most people that you help get up here only have 10? Do we understand how this works, guys? So if you are just constantly helping other people and not asking for anything in return, you are going to get punished. Yet you're going to get stronger. You're going to learn. You're going to develop. You're going to evolve. Is that worth it for you? They have created a world that ensures that 99.9% of you always choose no. Because why would we give up our life for everyone else? Why would we sacrifice ourselves to help the entire world? Why would we crucify ourselves to help the entire world? Most of you would not. And that's intentional because we've been consumed, right? Prophecy of thought, where everyone's just completely consumed by whatever they can see and experience and what the next desire that they want. And they have no patience for achieving that storyline. They want it right away. And the worst part is they can achieve it extremely quickly. Most things at this point now, there's so many workarounds and there's so many paths that you can do that you can bypass the entire progression climb and the entire journey of exploration to reach whatever personal goal or storyline that you're looking to achieve. So all they have to do is start taking away your personals, and then you're like, no, I need to start prioritizing myself again. Oh, we're losing everything. Everything is going bad. And that makes sense, right? You would say that, okay, you're right. I've helped so many other people. Now I need to prioritize myself. You're not wrong, right? Because then we have balance, 50-50. But then what you're going to start realizing is that you start losing other things because now since you're prioritizing yourself, well, all of a sudden your relationships, your connections are going to go down. You're all of a sudden going to start caring about external things. All of a sudden you're going to start caring about power, about easy, about how you look, about all these things. I'm telling you guys, it's impossible to have the balance because it's always a 60-40, no matter what. That means that the moment you start prioritizing yourself, something else around you is going to start being lost. And you're going to win, right? Like, hey, you wanted the girl, you're going to get the girl. But other things are going to start breaking and you don't understand why. And I'm telling you, it's because they do it intentional. But so most people at that point are going to be like, oh no, I can't lose more. This is the best my personal life has ever been. This is the most I've ever thrived. So then they have to keep going. Do you understand? So then they walk further down the path and they walk further down the path and they choose to exploit more. They choose to get more money. They care more about the metrics. They care more about all these things. And before they know it, they're completely consumed. And maybe they did the climb. Maybe now they're rich. Maybe they have a following. Maybe they have all this stuff. But they lost everything else. But they got their personal story. That's what they wanted, right? Why can't we have both? Why is the world designed in such a way that if I choose to heal and help other people, I am reliant on them? Why am I reliant on other people in this world to choose to give me charity, to help me if I ever want to achieve a storyline, because I can never achieve it and accomplish it for myself? Because there's invisible things that are all-knowing, that control our world, that present things to us, that fabricate things, that make sure that we can never have our personal storylines. These are my experiences. These are what I encounter and what I have realized is happening. So my question to all of you, now that you've heard this, does any of this resonate? Does any of this make sense? Have you noticed similar things? Have you noticed that when you choose to help people and not ask anything in return, have you seen that you've lost things? Have things gone bad? And then the moment you started prioritizing money or climbing the work ladder or just choosing a selfish storyline that you only want, that all of a sudden things have gotten better for you? Maybe not for others, but for you? Have you? And then I ask all of you, do you really think that that's a coincidence? Yes, it's a transfer of energy. Where we direct our energy matters, right? But do we really think that that's a coincidence? That is for you to decide. You all know my answer. What is yours? Can we achieve balance? Who knows?